I'm gonna be talking a little bit about how you get better at art faster. Now, there are multiple ways of getting better at art, but I'm gonna be kind of going down an avenue of one that's not so much traveled. People don't talk about this too much, and it was really important for my progression to becoming a better artist. I'm gonna give you one major tip to become better at art faster. Roll the intro. The cool thing about this tip, it applies to life. You can apply it to anything. You can apply it to any type of job. The reason that I'm going to be applying this to getting a job in animation, about getting a job in this industry, is because this industry that I'm in, it's not about physical strength. You can't just power your way through the problems that you face. It's all about the mindset and the willpower you have to get to where you want to get to. All right, I'm gonna be talking about that in a little bit. Right now, I'm gonna go over this piece. Okay, I'm gonna be going a little bit over opposition and its power in storytelling. All right, let's take a look at it here. If you're going to create a believable world, if you're gonna be creating believable characters and believable stories, there needs to be opposition. And more than that, the opposition needs to seem sincere, okay? It can't just be a simple roadblock. It needs to be emotional. It needs to be something that's inside the character that needs to face the opposition, which we can't really do in a still image here, but we can kind of show their expression, the anguish or the anger or the opposition can be shown in their face, the struggle. To me, it gets really boring when I see an animation, when I see a still image or an illustration of somebody wanting to punch somebody, and then they punch somebody, and then the person is punched, and that's literally it. This is like an old school style of storytelling. It was popular in the 80s and some of the 90s that, oh, somebody doesn't like somebody, oh, you're picking on somebody, so they, they like punch them or they do this or that. It's called on the nose writing. There's no subtext to it. There's no underlying meaning. I'm seeing this in a lot of just work online in general, in animation. People drawing cool fight scenes, people drawing cool poses, but there's no opposition and it just doesn't feel sincere because there's no story being told there. The artist wasn't obviously thinking about the story that they're trying to tell. Okay, storytelling is a video in itself. The main thing you need in storytelling is to actually have a story to tell. And a lot of people don't have that because typically people telling the story haven't gone through anything to have a story to express. Okay, that's another video, that's a different avenue. For me, it's so much more interesting when I see something complex and real. Something that I can relate to, like, I want to kill this guy. And you can see it in my face, but something's holding me back, either emotionally or physically. Something's literally holding me back. And you need to make sure that you can see the frustration in my face, in my eyes, even my hands, and that's where a lot of reference comes in. People think like, okay, I'm gonna draw a picture, I'm gonna tell a cool story with this image, but they draw from memory. Like, what are you doing? Stop drawing from memory. Just don't reference your imagination if you're in the beginning stages. What I do is I literally take photographs of myself. I take videos of how I just react. I literally act angry or upset, and I see how my hands curl. I see how my shoulders hunch. I see how my back is bent, or how my eyes are, my face is, and I really try to get in that mindset. And your whole posture is going to be different than if you just think like, oh, how would I draw somebody angry, Because if you're drawing somebody angry and you're thinking, I don't know, Disney or something, they're gonna have a much less, it depends what you're referencing, it depends what your mindset is, but the way you think something looks is less sincere than if you actually act it out and try to visualize it that way. Visualize reality, and then you can add stuff over on the top of that. But anyway, yeah, right here I wanted to show the struggle, the opposition, and she's actually got part of her mouth being pulled back. The mindset of this is, how painful it is to be pulled, right? You can even relate more to the pain of somebody grabbing your lip and pulling it back. You've had some kind of equivalent to that pain in your life. If you're having that type of pain in your freaking face, in your mouth, you can only imagine how angry somebody is at that point to still want to go forward, to get after the thing they're trying to go to. She's trying to get a hold of this guy. She doesn't care about the pain that she has to go through to do that. Most people think, oh, well, you can't show that in an image. You can only show that in the writing or in a script, but you can. You just kind of have to think outside of the box sometimes. Boom, moving on. Opposition. I'm gonna be talking about opposition a little bit. To get better at art, obviously you've got to put in the hours. You gotta draw and do the work. Obviously, do the work. But that's only half of it. And how I got better at art much quicker. A lot of people I know have gotten better at art this way as well. All it is essentially is understanding and changing your little baby brain. Most people, and this is how you're conditioned to think, is that opposition is a bad thing. It's a negative thing. And they think, oh, something is opposing me. It's difficult, it's hard, this is taking too long, there are too many good artists, so many artists that are so much better than me. And that's when people shut down. They give up because they think opposition is a bad thing. It's a negative thing. You switch the opposition to be a positive thing. Done. Done. You're done. At that point, it becomes a challenge. I welcome that challenge, okay? Opposition is not there to... You've got to stop thinking of it as something that's there to hold you down. Opposition exists specifically to see what you're made out of. To see what you're made of. See what you're made out of. And honestly, it's natural to think this way. At the core of it, it's called tribalism. Humans have always been taught and have always thought that it always has to be us versus them. Good versus bad, there's always two sides and you have to, fight. You have to fight each other. But you don't have to do that. You just gotta switch your little brain into thinking that these problems are not there to go against you, they're there to develop you. As soon as I started thinking in that mindset, boom! Opposition is your chance. Opposition is the opportunity that lets you show how bad you want something. If my goal is at the tippity top of this mountain, I don't want to walk like a little baby infant Polly Pocket Barbie, kind of wobbling all the way to the top with people pulling my hand and picking me up and hand feeding me stuff all the way. Frick no. Gator don't play that, all right? I want to be dodging things. I want to be getting cut. I want to be getting beat up. I want to be pushing people aside in a beeline. You understand? Yeah, you understand. I think Finn said it best.
Main train has arrived at the station. I'm ready, bro. Bring it. You're nothing, lava. You're a bomb. I can handle you.
Look, just say stop and you won't get burned.
Never!
This will pretty much wreck up your whole life, so think about it.
Yeah, it feels good. Love it. Loving that heat on my skull.
Okay, I'm gonna lower you some more. Probably gonna cook up your brain.
Oh yeah, give it to me.
Dang, it's flipping crazy.
What happened? You robbed me of the win.
You're right, man. My bruises are hickeys from the universe. I should just accept that.
Yeah, boy. In your face. Haha.
Actually, it's the basis for most entertainment. You ever heard of Dark Souls? It's a video game where you're just dying constantly. You can't get a single step in that game without dying. All of that pain, all of that struggle, and all that crap at the very end of the game. When you get to the end, when you win, it's the sweetest thing that you've ever felt in your sad little baby life. Well, not that I've ever played the game and beat it. That game was way too hard. So overall, getting better at art, it doesn't have to be a physical thing that you do. It's just how you change your mindset. Because for me, when I was trying to learn, I had all this stuff just building up on my shoulders and it felt like it was weighing me down, like, oh, I gotta get better at this, I gotta get better at that. And that's not a fun way to learn in that mindset, so you don't learn as fast. You literally won't learn as fast. So even more at the core of it, what I'm saying is you have to enjoy what you're doing. Thinking of opposition as a fun thing, as a challenge, it's just more fun. And I personally learned a lot faster that way. Overall, quit being a baby, enjoy opposition when it comes. We are built to problem solve. Our stress and anger, it's in our own little perspectives. One last question for you. Have you ever heard of SKILLSHARE? SKILLSHARE is